Hi, in this topic we will see Boyce-Codd Normal Form, also called as 3.5 Normal Form. Remember that it is little bit advanced level of the normal form. Most of the things get satisfied till the third normal form, but if still something is remaining, right, we can process our table structure into the other normal forms also, and one of them is a Boyce-Codd normal form. So when you talk about the Boyce-Codd normal form, right, it depends on the two requirements. First, it should meet the requirements of the third normal form, and every non-trivial functional dependency in the table must be a dependency on the candidate key. A functional dependency is considered a non-trivial when it involves non-key attribute. What are they saying here? Let us see. So consider this table. This table is already in first normal form, second normal form. This table is already in the first normal form. That is, all the column names are unique. Order, what you can in order is not fixed. Single means what? Values are single valued, not the multiple valued, and type of the column are same. A domain type of the column are same, we are not changing. Also in the second normal form there are no partial dependencies. Third normal form there are no transitive dependencies. Right, now student ID and the subject ID. Let's consider here student ID and the subject ID are the primary keys. More appropriately, student ID and the subject are the primary key over here, right? Why? Because from the student and the subject we can find out the professor. Student and the subject we can find out the professor. One WW, professor is WWW. One subject is WWW, professor is P11, right? But if you can observe over here, the subject WWW can be taught by two professors, P11 and P23, right? Also, the subject SSS can be taught by P110 and the subject SSS can be taught by P24. One thing is for sure, one professor can teach only one subject. One professor can teach only one subject, and all these three things are satisfied, right? But here are some things you can check in the table. One subject can be taught by one professor. One subject can be taught by only one professor, right? But concern is that that subject can be taught by n number of professors. So WWW can be taught by P11, WWW can be taught by P23, right? So you can say something like this: professor, if you have given the professor, you can find out the subject. If you have given the professor, you can find out the subject. Consider that. Tell me the subject for professor P11. You can tell that P11 teaches WWW subject. Also, tell me the subject of professor P21. P21 teaches QQQ subject, right? Now, BCNF says that all the normal forms are okay. But remember that these are the prime attributes. Student ID, these are part of the primary key. That's why these are called as prime attributes. Professor, not a prime attribute. Professor is what? Not a prime attribute. So BCNF says that non-prime attribute should not result in that column which is a part of the primary key. So from the professor, you are not allowed to find out the subject. From the professor, you are not allowed to find out the subject for the reason subject is a part of the primary key, candidate key, right? Professor. From the professor, you can find out the subject. P11 teaches www. So this is not allowed in the, what you can say, BCNF. And that's what here they have said. Every non-trivial functional dependency in the table must be a dependency on the candidate key. A functional dependency considered as non-trivial when it involves the non-key attribute. Where is the non-key attribute? So professor is this. So professor, from the professor can find out the subject. Professor can find out the subject, which means that subject is dependent on the professor. This is not allowed. BCNF says that you are not allowed to do this thing. I hope you have understood this. And now, how do you resolve this? Of course, you need to create two separate tables. And here if you see, you need to divide this into the tables like this. You would be having a student table and the professor table. Inside student table, there would be professor ID. And inside professor table, details of the professor would be there. That's what the third normal form. Remember that it is important to note that BCNF is a more restrictive than the 3NF and may result in the more tables compared to the 3NF. This level of the normalization ensures that all the functional dependencies are directly dependent on the candidate keys, thereby eliminating all possible anomalies. Well, some people say that it's okay if from the professor you can find out the subject, that is okay. But as per the standard things, Boyce-Codd Normal Form, professor should not find out the subject. Why? Professor is a non-key attribute, and non-key attribute should not find the prime attribute. That's what the third Boyce-Codd Normal Form says. And to remove this, you can divide this into the two tables, student and the professors. I hope you have understood this session. If you have understood, write it in the comment box. If you have any queries and questions, also write it in the comment box. Thank you.